Today's video is sponsored by our good friends at Famous Faces and Funnies, located in Melbourne, Florida. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as our friends at Docking Bay 94, located in Boca Raton, Florida. Check us out on comicsandgames.com. Also, Ian's Display Accessories. Find us on Facebook. Ian's is the best stance for vintage Star Wars and Hasbro G.I. Joe. So today we're looking at issue number 3 in this non-Hama series by Paul Allor. And it's turning out to be pretty damn good. After an SJW-packed first issue, many of you, including myself, had the reaction of yikes. But as I said back then, you have to give 3 issues to see what's going to happen. Issue number 2 was a dramatic improvement, and issue number 3 is the payoff, and we have to credit Paul Allor. Now, just to recap, again, this isn't your typical Joe team, and only a few have actual military specialists, as their background. They use the familiar names like Roadblock and Jinx, but this team is made up of ordinary folks, forming a resistance to Cobra, which has defeated the United States and now is running the country. Like with every issue, we start with the cover variants. Now, this issue titled Breakfast in America, we see Roadblock going undercover at a diner in this town. And this town has been completely brainwashed. They are pro-Cobra because they're saying Cobra provides, even though they're actually struggling. So Roadblock is in there because they're near a checkpoint. So he's gotten to know the locals and he's been stationed here for quite some time. What's interesting is the main focus so far is a character named Tiger is actually downgraded to a support role in this issue, as Roadblock's undercover intelligence takes center stage. Now, the townspeople refer to him as Mac. And in this series, characters like Tiger and Frontier, which is a brown version of Flint, are now beginning to establish a connection to the reader. And we see here Frontier is actually at the checkpoint submitting this card that people have to hand over in order to get authorization to pass through. At the meantime, Tiger, and I don't know who this character is, they're actually doing, trying to hack into the system so they could override it and let him get through the jammer. Well, something goes cockamamie and the authorization doesn't go through. So the Cobra guardsman tells Frontier, hey, you need to step out of the car. And he's like, oh, what's going on? He's playing it cool. And then he's like, the gig is up. So he kicks the door and makes a run for it before Cobra could get him and interrogate him. And he has a split second to, but look at his outfit. I mean, he is the brown version of Flint. And his backstory is he's from Pakistan. So, they're going for that international feel with this G.I. Joe team. And I love this illustration. This is pretty damn good. The artwork isn't spectacular, but it serves its purpose, so I appreciate that. In this Cobra universe, Cobra's headquarters is in Chicago, which kind of makes sense if you're controlling the United States, because it's in the middle. Major Blood demands to know what the hell was going on at the checkpoint, and demands for a total inspection and just ripping apart the truck to find clues. Now, we saw Blood earlier kill off Duke in a ballsy act by Allor, and he seems to be running Cobra's version of the SS from Nazi Germany. And you see this lady who is unknown saying, we checked everything and we didn't find anything. He's like, look again. Now, there's a side story going on at the same time. The people in this town are anxiously awaiting for a supply truck to arrive, bringing of all things food and medication. The people seem to be okay with the loss of personal freedoms and what they presume is a more safe and structured system. Now, how dictatorship or communism is better for everyone and is beyond me. They keep saying Cobra provides, and it's freaking annoying. And we see these people are saying, this is better than what we had before, and Cobra will take care of us. Roadblock plays along when suddenly someone starts making anti-Cobra outbursts. And the people want to beat the crap out of him, but Roadblock says that, no, I'll deal with this riffraff. And he, takes this dude outside, and the people are watching, and then we found out that this person is Lightfoot. So, yeah, the Lightfoot in this series is an African-American character, again, which is interesting because, you got the names, but, the people are different, and I don't know, that's actually kind of interesting, Roadblock is pissed. He asks Lightfoot, what the hell are you doing, man? You're trying to blow our cover? So they both have to act like Roadblock kicked his ass, so the town or the people further believe that he's for Cobra, and Lightfoot is, just a punk that just got what he deserved. And you see, the people looking on, yeah, Mac's one of us. That's what they call Roadblock. Later on, Roadblock rendezvous with the other Joes that are stationed at his safe house. And you notice that little homage to the vamp there that little kid is playing with. I thought that was a nice little touch. So the guys discuss what the hell went wrong. Frontier got caught. The jammer didn't work. And they're like, you know what? There's no way in hell that we could, get by the Cobra security point. But there was an alternative plan because there's actually explosives on that truck. So what they've decided is that Lightfoot is going to blow up the bridge, basically. And Roadblock's like, whoa. But what about all the supplies going to the people need that stuff, We're here to help the people realize how terrible Cobra is. And we are the people, We're not some military entity. We're the people that have been affected by Cobra. Let's not forget our mission. Now, here's where the beauty of this whole series starts coming out. Now, remember, in the Revolutionary War, we were just regular people fighting the British. So we could relate to this G.I. Joe team. And we see this across the globe with people standing up to tyranny and injustice. It's just regular people that take them down, not military groups. So here we are at the bridge, and we see that Lightfoot is getting into position to do his thing. In the meantime, Roadblock is hell-bent on commandeering that truck and getting it across before the bridge explodes to the people. Because, he's gone to know the people in the town, and even though he doesn't agree with their political views, they're still people. To him, they're still Americans. And that's commendable. That's what, if you think about it, we all have divisions. We all have, things. But at the heart of it, we're all people. We're all Americans. And we're all, have that same fiber that makes us Americans. So the team goes over some last-minute checks. Roadblock realizes he will not only have to haul ass to avoid the bridge from exploding, but Cobra has blockades, and he has to deal with Cobra, in order to get across safely to deliver the supplies to the townspeople. Again, the artwork isn't over the top, but the action sequence for the truck coming through is pretty good. I mean, it gets the emotion, the severity of this clearly across. And from where this series started to where it is remarkable. I am totally shocked. Allor so far has done a great job engaging the reader and letting the story unfold. And I think, again, that is a sign of a good writer. Again, yes, this is great, and I know there's going to be, not everything is perfect in this story, but at the same time, Allor has done a good job with sticking with his story, introducing these new characters, old characters, giving them a refresh, and you are invested in this, and that's the most important thing. You actually are invested into what they're doing, what their objectives are, and how they go about achieving them. And they have an uphill battle in the fact that they're not military specialists. Like, these guys have been affected by Cobra. They've lost loved ones. And I referenced, the civilians that joined the Revolution Army. Like, that's where the connection comes in. You could relate to these characters. And, we see this across the globe. Like, so many of these people taking a stand against oppression and tyranny. And, a nice dramatic, roadblock is jumping the bridge just as it's collapsing and, trying to make it over there. And again, the artwork, simple, but to the point. I really appreciate that. And Lightfoot's looking on. Everybody did their job, and that was part of Scarlet's training in issue number 2. Is like, you guys have to do your job, but also work as a team. And we see that Roadblock made it across and was able to deliver the supplies to the townspeople. And they are so appreciative of him. They're like, hey, you saved us. You got us what we needed. And Roadblock makes a joke, kind of like Cobra provides. And it's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek, like, and the townspeople kind of begin to realize, hey, maybe Cobra isn't the best thing for us after all. And here's the 2 important introductions in this book, in this issue, is we see a female looking at the news, and it's none other than the Baroness. Again, the Baroness is very tastefully done, and it is the Baroness. You definitely know who she is, who this character is. We see, like, a trooper saying, "For Cobra," because she has to go find out what the hell is going on over there and why Major Blood is letting this happen. So we're going to see a little bit of that internal conflict going on within the Cobra ranks. And we see, they say, "For Cobra," then we see Cobra Commander. And a nice homage to the vintage, as well as adding some modern touches to the character. I like it. I mean, Cobra Commander looks great. So all in all, this was a great issue. It was